Hi Newfield artists. I thought today would be a good day to do some flower rubbings. We're just working with some wildflowers that you might find outside of your house in the backyard or around your house. And they just grow wild, and they're things like dandelions, which this is a really popular one that you see a lot of. And I also have some other ones. You might just find some dandelions and that's all you really need. I just happen to have, I have some of these purple wildflowers and I have some of this red orange. So whatever you have that you're able to safely pick, grab what you can, and we're going to do some flower rubbing. So we're using the flowers as our materials to work with for our art today. Okay, so I have here in front of me just a plain piece of white paper, and for this you could have a plan of what you're going to do in mind, or kind of like what I'm going to do right now, you could just see where it takes you. So I might be thinking about flowers so I'm going to put on some yellow and maybe some purple, and then I might draw petals to actually make them into flowers. But you'll see in the slides you could make, if you end up with some yellow circles, you could make them into emojis. You could do a sun, you could do an egg or like a yellow balloon. So think about what you might want to do, but what you want to do is just hold your flower. So like this dandelion here, I'm just holding it right by the petals, right underneath this green part here, underneath it. And I'm just going to kind of squish it down and rub it against my paper, and I'm going to see the yellow pigment come out. So let's see what we got here. And I'm pressing pretty hard. I'm putting some pressure down. And this I picked maybe an hour ago, and it did start to turn a little bit brown, but that's okay. Okay, so I found some more dandelions, and I am just going to practice and do another one. Ooh, an ant came in. So I'm just going to, again, I'm holding right at this green part here underneath all the petals. So I'm kind of like gathering them all together, and I'm going to press on my paper and kind of squish it down to use this as a pigment to get my yellow. So I'm thinking this one I might just do a lot of yellow to make kind of a big circle here. So I'm just pressing and rubbing. Oop. And a little of my green stem is getting mixed in there too, but that's okay. I'm just going to pick up another one and keep going. Okay, so here's what I ended up with. I have this one that I just did, so I use a lot. I use quite a few dandelions, maybe about 5 there, to really get that yellow pigment to show, and I'm going to turn that into a sun. I already started with these rays that I added on to. This one, I used the dandelions, and I also had some purple wildflowers that I also pressed and rubbed onto the paper too. So I'm thinking I'll do something a little more abstract with this one, and I use the dandelions here on this one, and these are just examples to show you what you could do, and I might turn these into flowers. So I'm going to use a marker. I have a thin Sharpie here, and I think I'm going to start with this one, so maybe we'll hold it this way. I'm just going to do some outlining around. as you can see, there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of transform your markings from using the flowers. You can keep it pretty abstract if you just wanted to do kind of like a fun polka dot pattern. I went in with some markers and I added in some other lines and different shapes and some spirals in there. You could just outline if you wanted to, so you could work with patterns and different lines. You know, check out the slides. You could turn them into balloons, emojis. Since we're really mostly using yellow with the dandelions, you can actually make them into flowers once you start outlining, like I did with this one. I added some green with the leaves. I just used colored pencils for that part. You can make a nice big bright sun. So there's a lot you could do with those, with the flowers that you kind of squish and press down. You do have to work pretty quickly though, because they're turning brown very fast. So once you pick them, just go ahead and get started right away. So take pictures. Be sure to share them with us so we can see what you have come up with this. It was really fun. So I'll see you later. Have fun.